wear a lot of like eerie gothic things, and I felt like, it's 2025, it's a new year. I wanted to also accentuate parts of myself that, I hid, which is also my personality. For someone who is considered like emo or like dark and stuff, I have a personality that kind of balances it out.
Yeah.
So I'm not always, in the corners or shunned away or hidden. When you get to know me, you'll realize that I'm full of spunk and not just punk. But if you look at like Picasso, for example, he had to die for his art to be out there. And it's actually a lot of work. It's incredible stuff. It has stories. Some people resonate and some people don't. And, I feel like, I know modern day art can be lazy, but that's why you gotta, scout the artists that speak to you and through you.
Definitely, yeah. I believe this year is a year of love.
Yeah.
Loving people around you, your partners, whatever. What does love mean to you? How are you though?
How am I?
How are you doing? Yeah.
I'm good. I feel like every year does get better. At the same time, I'm learning to balance out my emotional side with my mental side. And I feel like I actively work on that every day. So I am better than I was last year. And to me, that's all that matters. How are you?
I'm good. I think this year I have quite a lot of things I want to get done. It's the 4th of January and we're already busy. So this is like the type of energy that I want to push. Even on Monday, I'm recording a couple of stuff as well. So this year, I'm motivated.
Yeah.
I have so much. I'm actually quite excited for this year. I think this is the one year. I think most of the time, like when the year starts, I'm kind of worried. I don't know why, but this is like the first year in a long time where I'm more excited than anything. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen this year. And I know there's quite a lot of good things that are going to happen this year.
Yes.
Do you have any New Year's resolutions? Are you that kind of person?
Yeah, but I think, okay, normally I would sit and, look at the sky and look at plants and stuff and just say a few things to myself that, I feel like I needed to hear. And one of those are, just do it. Like, just, lose the fear and just do it, because if you don't try, you'll never know.
Yeah.
I also told myself to, try and be a lot more humble towards certain things and the way I deal with certain things and certain people when I'm upset or certain, when I'm upset, because I feel like I can be a little bit extra sometimes.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I'm an artist. Like I speak through that way. It's a form of expression. So, another New Year's resolution would be, waste no time and just get things done, because my happiness now lies in my passions.
Yeah.
So,
Especially getting it done, because I was watching this other speech by Barack, and he was basically talking about how young people don't know how to start something and see to the end. They start something, and in between, when it gets a bit difficult, they stop, and that's why most people, and I've seen it myself as well. People
Same.
start. I've had, like, when I started my podcast, I think I had like 3-4 people around me that started, but because they saw how difficult it is to grow an audience, and they're like, what, this is not for me, and they left it. So start and see to the end.
It's so crazy that you say that, because I feel like that literally just happened to me recently. And the one thing about me is I love to start new projects. And I put my everything into that project that I have, because I foresee a vision and a future for it. I know what I can contribute, and I make sure that, the people that I'm working with as well. But sometimes, people can be complicated, and working with the team can also be complicated, especially if they don't share the same vision. And even if they do, it's how much they put into it. So, personally, I can say everything that I've set my mind to, I've achieved it. I followed through, and I'm just going to remain consistent that way, because that's my happiness, man.
Yeah.
So fuck everyone else. I don't give a fuck about what they're doing. That's not my shit. My shit is my shit. I'm doing my
It's
shit.
your year. You gotta do what you need to do. Don't let people hold you back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna play one more game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Be this.
Love games. Toxic like that.
Good. Yeah. You can go.
Should I sit down? Should I
No,
stand?
just as a
Oh,
stand.
okay, so
Yeah.
I can feel it now.
You can feel it.
Lost.
Flask. Okay. Yeah,
Flask.
that's correct. And then your 1 minute to start it. The second thing is in. You can.
Oh, it's like a squishy bouncing ball thing.
What is it though?
What do you call it? A plastic squishy toy.
That's correct.
What do you call those things? Like a yo squishy bouncing toy.
I'm also forgetting the name. I'm asking you and I also don't.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. I'm gonna guess the color.
Okay. And then the third thing is in.
Mango.
Wow. That's correct.
Go in my hat.
Wait.
Go in my hat.
Bring that first. Where's that plus? Where's that? Well, give me the goal though. I'm trying to be weird. You said weird, so. There you go.
Like that.
And yes.
Let's get weird.
The fourth thing is inside.
Oh. Whoa. What the hell? It's a bowl upside down. It's a bowl upside down.
That's correct. It's a wet bowl upside.
Yeah, whoa.
And the very last thing is in the box.
Oh. Okay, so furry coat. Jacket. Furry jacket coat.
Okay.
And the team is brown. Is it brown? Is it black?
No.
Is it white?
Yeah, no.
Is it beige?
Yeah.
It's beige. Cool.
Today we have somebody very, 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 very interesting. I want to say the name is Minachi, right? I said it right.
Minachi, yeah.
Okay. For the people who are watching, would like to know who is Minachi.
So I am a multidisciplinary artist. I do. Sorry, I should hold it.
Yeah, bring it closer.
Oh, closer.
If you're gonna.
We might have to do that again. That's fine.
Yeah, should be fine. Should be fine. A bit closer.
Yeah, a little bit closer. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna leave it like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cuts it out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm a multidisciplinary artist. I dabble in a whole bunch of things creatively. Minachi is more than just a person. She's an atmosphere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean by you're an atmosphere?
I feel like as an artist, I wouldn't just simplify myself to one thing. So
But if there would be any like word that you would say for people to easily understand, what would be that word?
Go-getter. No fear.
No fear.
Fuck it, we ball.
Like
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes that I wrote is dressed in all black, but still the highlight of your night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So does that explain why you have some highlights in your hair as well?
Yeah, most of the time, like I wear a lot of black. I wear a lot of like eerie gothic things. And I felt like, it's 2025. It's a new year. I wanted to also accentuate parts of myself that, I hid, which is also my personality. For someone who is considered like emo or like dark and stuff, I have a personality that kind of balances it out.
Yeah.
So I'm not always, in the corners or, shunned away or hidden. When you get to know me, you'll realize that I'm full of spunk and not just punk,
Yeah. Okay, so this is a new year. I'm sure a lot of people have quite a lot of things that they've set up for themselves this year. I believe this year is a year of love.
Yeah.
Loving people around you, your partners, whatever. What does love mean to you?
Love is acceptance. It's acknowledging the person for who they are and what they've been through and accepting them despite their flaws.
Yeah.
I feel like love is unconditional and forgiving. When you love someone, you love everything about them and not just things that are specific to you. Love radiates such large energy that it's such a big word. You can't just dumb it down to one thing of affection for a person or intimacy, or you can also love an art style. You can also love fashion. You can love many things about it. And I think love is so diverse and broad that it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
What does it mean to you? I think that's a broad.
What it means to me,
So what does it mean to you?
it means a commitment. It means dedication. It means riding with someone like a ride or die. Love to me means compassion. At the moment, I'm not with anyone and I haven't been with someone for a while, so I wouldn't be able to, elaborate on that specific part. But I feel like you can love anyone and anything for who they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, I don't
Love
know how
never
to,
dies.
I don't know how to really explain it on my side, but yeah, I honestly I'd say compromise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Definitely,
That's the
yeah.
one word I'd use for love is compromise. Because, like you said it yourself, most of the time we do concentrate on like what we can gain from it from ourselves, but it's like, you have to also kind of not necessarily have some of your things or who you are die, but be able to, compromise.
Compromise, yeah, 100%,
I
100%.
define love in that way. Are you a rebellious person?
Yes, I am. I am indeed.
What is the most rebellious thing that you've ever done?
Whoa. Whoa. I ran away from home.
Okay.
But yeah, the most rebellious thing I've also done is run away from home. Let's just keep it like that.
Okay.
Many times.
Many times.
Yeah.
As a kid or?
As a kid, as a teenager, as an adult. Yeah, I feel like there's so much in the world that, we need to see. And sometimes parents are afraid of letting their child experiment with certain things. So you learn to be rebellious to find yourself and your personality with it. Like I said, fear nothing and fuck it, we bought.
What made you decide that you want to run away from home? Like, what gave you like the reason to be like, okay, you know what, it's time to leave home and do my stuff?
I think also because of my culture. Like in the Indian culture, parents tend to like, limit what their kids could see. And I felt like I experienced so many things as like a kid and stuff, and I wanted to also see what it's like being outside, what it's like to drink alcohol, what it's like to smoke, what it's like to be with friends and not having to come home at a certain time because my parents said so. And it's like I wanted to see the world.
And what would you say you've gained out of it?
Experience, social skills, a knack for seeing things like art and fashion and people and situations and places and scenarios and stuff. And I felt like, if I stayed at home, I'd just be this artist who's chilling at home creating stuff, but you need inspiration from being outside.
So would you say you gain freedom, basically?
Freedom, yes. Freedom. I gained a lot of things.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of things comes to freedom.
If you were a strain, which strain would you be and why?
Ooh. I want to say White Widow because you smoke a little bit and it fucks you up. It sends you into oblivion, and sometimes I tend to do that. Sometimes I get lost in the sauce and I'm like, let's fucking go. And White Widow, if you smoke a little bit too much, you're gonna feel that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna play a little game,
Okay.
a quick speed run game. So I'm gonna ask you this or that. You just choose. No, you don't have to give any reason.
Perfect.
Just shoot. The first one is chaos or perfection.
Chaos.
Anonymous fame or known failure.
Anonymous fame.
Create reality or escape it.
Creates reality.
Artistic freedom or financial security.
Ooh.
Quick.
Artistic freedom.
Gin and juice or ramen coke.
Ramen Coke.
Okay. So I want to get into like you, the things that you do. You're an artist. What are your thoughts on modern day art?
It's forever changing. And I think that's the best part about it because having to limit someone's style to keep it consistent, your target audience doesn't travel as much and people are changing every day. So modern art, I feel, it changes perspectives on old ways.
Okay. So in that regards as well, because you said freedom, right? And a lot of things, like when I mean art, I mean music, movies, whatever, drawing, right? A lot of it these days is very political, right? Politically correct, what? Doesn't that essentially stops the freedom aspect of it? Because I mean,
Well, I think no, because if you look at like, how people are accepting the LGBT community now compared to a few years ago when people, would get, I want to say incarcerated. They would get, murdered for it or, and I feel like as people are growing, they are, acknowledging and accepting a lot of changes right now. So what's the question?
the question is, do you not feel like, I get that, right? There's the freedom for people to express themselves, but there's also a level of, if I say this, then my things are going to be taken away from platforms, all of that. That still is a limit
Oh,
on
okay.
those people as well, right? Because art is, it's like what you take in your worldview sometimes, and then for someone to come and say, no, but this you can't say. If you say this, then we're gonna shut you
I would say
off.
that and you. For real, because you can't tell someone how to live their life or how to perceive certain things. You can't tell them how to channel and reflect, or create. And I feel like that's the power of creative freedom is the willingness to fight for what you believe is right as an artist. And that comes with obviously rebellion and having to come up with your own perceptions and your own ways of thinking beside everyone else's opinions.
And because comedy is art as well, would you say? Do you think also that is given like freedom as well?
Yes.
I don't think so though.
Why?
I don't know. Like I say, like there's like some certain jokes you can't say anymore.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But I feel like that's also the best part about it being a comedian is when you say that one thing, everyone's shocked and they're like, yo, they did not just say that. But then they laugh about it because it's like they had the balls to say that. And I think that's the best part about it is being a comedian and having to restrict yourself to other people's, mental spaces.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best way to do something because sometimes you have to just risk it and see how they react. And if they don't, they won't. And if they do, you captured someone's attention.
I don't know. I honestly don't feel like, especially because like you watch old movies, right? Where let me actually go into race. You watch old movies, and some of it is very like stereotypical about, but it also is funny to some extent. Like even I'm like, I can take that joke. It is what it is, right? For example, I don't know if you know Robbie Downey Jr.
Yeah.
He played in this other movie called Tropic Thunder where he had black face on it for the
Okay.
whole movie, right? And later on during his like career with the Iron Man and all of that, people were trying to cancel it for that, for something he did years ago. And that whole movie was even about that, like how like back in the day they'll take like roles that were historically Asian and then they would cast like a white man and they were making fun of that. But they were trying to cancel him for that. I'm like, but that was the whole point. The reason why
Yeah.
he did that was, and that's why I feel like art wise to fully express yourself, I honestly don't believe it's no longer as much as we open some channels, like you said, for the LGBT and whatever, but some of the things are also closed out as well for people to express themselves. They can't, because even they asked him, he's like, yeah, that movie wouldn't work at today's time.
Yeah.
Why? It means that we have a barrier.
I mean, even if you look at Chloe Bailey's movie with Ariel, The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
A lot of people canceled her because of her ethnicity, and the original Ariel was actually a Caucasian.
Yeah.
So it's up to the people that are watching it and perceiving and removing that stigmatism, that stereotype from their own brains. I feel like most of the time people are projecting like how they feel towards certain things and what's supposed to be right and what's supposed to be wrong. But at the end of the day, if you just open your mind to it, you realize it's actually not that bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess, also, I guess like, that's how things are. I mean,
Yeah.
things keep changing and some of
Yeah.
it we will enjoy it and some we won't. And
Yeah, we have to be
only with
willing
time, I
to
guess.
accept change.
Yeah.
I think that's what should also be instilled in 2025 and the years thereafter, is that change is inevitable. And hoping for ancient ways, it's like, trying to keep that consistency of like ancient times and morals and values into our modern day. We're going to have this clash, and we can see that type of clash with the government and how the world is happening. And like arranged marriages in ancient times, and you look at it as now, and people are getting married at like 18 and 19 and whatever, it's up to love and it's up to the person. And I feel like we should never just change how we want to do things in our life because of other people's opinions. And I think I just want to press on that.
Talking about change, ne? I have a concern about modern day arts. I feel like modern day art is too lazy. The way they do art these days is too lazy.
Why would you say that?
I know being artistic also means take out a plain piece of whatever, work on it in the simplest way, right? But the way some people just do it, it just shows laziness. But now it's a matter of how big you are. I can just take an A1 or whatever and draw whatever randomly. I can just be walking over and just draw a line with a pen. But because I'm that big, that painting can be like 3 million.
I think it's also based on like the artist's experience. Whatever the artist, sorry, my nose is running. We're gonna have to.
No worries.
So I feel like it's based on the artist's experience and whatever they've been through to make them the artist that they chose to be. Yes, you can see it as lazy, and sometimes pieces are lazy, but the story that is behind the piece is actually what matters. Some artists really don't deserve to. Okay, I'm not going to say it like that, but some pieces don't need as much credit as they have.
Definitely, yeah.
And I have noticed that, and I can agree with that as well. But I think it's also consistency with the artist. To be great, you have to be consistent with your work, and then the more people that see, the more people resonate, and then you are sure it could either be big or they could just fall apart. But if you look at like Picasso, for example, he had to die for his art to be out there. And it's actually a lot of work. It's incredible stuff. It has stories. Some people resonate and some people don't. And I feel like, modern day art can be lazy, but that's why you gotta scout the artists that speak to you and through you.
Definitely, yeah.
Because they are out there.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's lazy. I think it still goes back to like things are changing. For
Yeah.
example, like you look at the old buildings during like the Picasso, like how they designed them, and then you look at like modern day buildings, how they are, their functions and whatnot. It's just changing times. And yes, you might look at it as like a cylinder building and say that's lazy, but what's the function behind it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe because of like we're a growing society, then there were very small towns that can create these like small little pieces. But now, what happens when population starts growing? We do need those.
Yes. Those cylinders.
So, to some extent, yes, you can say laziness, but I also would say
I think it's also simplicity, because if you look at like ancient times or medieval times, there was a lot of design put into it, a lot of like intricate small details. And I say this because if I had to have my own house now, I best believe it's going to be like a castle, a medieval castle. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be dark. I want it to be like a haunted fucking house.
Yeah.
You know, and to have that building, I would have to build it myself.
Yeah.
Or hire a crazy designer who's able to do it. But now I'm spending more money for something that already existed.
Yeah.
And if you look at like, some apartments and like Sands or whatever, it's, pretty simple. And I think what's nice about that is, if let's just say the fashion that's happening now, you get a lot of like, basic fits or complicated fits, but when you stand against a background, you have to make sure that that background is catering for the outfit, for example. Now, if I had to wear what I'm wearing and right now, as we speak, and go stand in a medieval building, there's going to be a little bit of confusion at the same time. But I personally like that. A lot of people like simplicity and, basic things, but I guess it depends on the world is changing. It needs to happen.
The world has changed.
It needs to happen. It needs, there's a balance.
Speaking about change, you have, I think it's your brothers or your families. It's called the Little Studio.
Yeah.
What is the Little Studio and what do you guys do?
So the Little Studio is a photography studio. In studio with studio lights, strobes, color gels, the whole shebang. The Little Studio focuses on artists.
Yeah.
It focuses on families, maternity shoots. So it's very diverse. I know it's called the Little Studio, but we do big things. So yeah.
Okay. So how did it start and what was the vision behind it? Like what?
So it started originally from two people who were obviously old at the time, and they had the studio for like 25 years or something like that. And my brother took an interest into photography, so he ended up having this job as a photographer at the studio. Because they were also old and stuff, having their own issues and stuff, he took on a lot of work that was outside of him just being a photographer.
Yeah.
And they realized like he could actually continue their legacy. So he ended up buying it, and we changed the whole spectrum of like just focusing on family portraiture and maternity and baby shoots and stuff like that into the new modern creative style. So now we started, playing around with colors, playing around with artists, playing around with different things that kind of bring out that personality or atmosphere of that artist.
Okay. So, what about One Love, Dead Man's Finger, and Slayer Drink makes you want to work with them? Why are you working with them?
Firstly, my brand, I feel like it's on brand for me because I do hold a kind of like gothic, eerie, dark, style.
Yeah.
And if I look at like One Love, you can see that, the brand is also black, but at the same time, I smoke a lot of weed and I've been in this industry. So, I would rather, work with One Love than like raw OCB, even though they are good rolling papers. One Love for me has so many more benefits in so many different ways, like the packaging and, the grinder that happens to be inside. You can pick cones and it's just aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's the aesthetic for me. If I look at Slayer energy, firstly, the word Slayer. As well as the can designs. They focus on artists. They hire artists to design their cans for them. And I think that's what's also really nice about it. If I look at Dead Man's Fingers, skull. And it's so funny because they approached me and I was like, yeah, totally. They understood my brand and I understood their brand. So it works hand in hand compared to having to work with something that is out of my comfort zone, even though I don't mind that. I would just prefer to work with something that
already represents your image.
yeah, you know.
Okay, so I actually wanted to ask you that is if they reached out to you, or is it like something that you had to, reach out to them because of, like you said, it fits very well with like how you are.
So some of them I did have to reach out to, some of them I didn't. And normally, like with reaching out to brands, I feel like everyone should do that because it fights that fear of feeling like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not good enough to do this campaign. But then you realize like, oh, okay, they do want to work with me. And it's really nice because then you get to have your own creative freedom doing that brand work where they trust your vision because they like, okay, it does work. Dead Man's Fingers reached out to me and I was so honored for that because I was like, you understand my vision, I understand your vision, let's work.
Thanks for watching, and make sure to like, subscribe, and do all the good YouTube stuff. We're almost at 1,000. Our goal this year is 10,000. So if you're watching, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit that subscribe button and enjoy the rest of the year.